All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're unpacking one of the most incredible continuous stories in the history of our entire planet, the epic journey of human migration. If you've ever looked at a globe and wondered how on earth we managed to conquer everything from scorching deserts to freezing coastlines, well, this explainer is exactly for you. We are going to trace the absolutely massive scale of human movement across time.
So at its core, human migration is simply the movement of people from one place in the world to another. Pretty straightforward, right? But this simple act of moving isn't just some modern phenomenon made possible by airplanes and drawn borders. Actually, it's a fundamental behavior. It is literally the engine of human history.
Which brings us to a really fascinating question. Why is moving actually in our DNA? I mean, quite literally. Thanks to modern science, genetic sequencing allows us to read our deep evolutionary roots. And by tracking ancient genomes, scientists can clearly see that this urge to expand, to see what's just beyond the horizon, well, it's practically written right into our biological code.
Part 1. Origins in Africa. This is where it all began.
You see, our specific species, Homo sapiens, originated in Africa, and that is actually where we've spent the vast majority of our time on Earth. But right around 60,000 years ago, our ancestors began to spread out. They even encountered other, now extinct human species, like the Neanderthals, along the way. Fast forward to 30,000 years ago, and shifting climates exposed this massive land bridge connecting Asia to the Americas. From there, it took less than 10,000 years for humans to cross that bridge and settle all the way down to the very tip of South America.
Moving into Part 2, Surviving the Ice Age. And trust me, we were barely holding on.
Because this wasn't exactly a comfortable road trip. At the end of the last ice age, the entire human population on Earth plummeted to an estimated 10,000 individuals. Just 10,000. Think about that for a second. The total number of humans alive was barely enough to fill a modern-day small-town sports arena. Our survival literally hung by a thread. And we persisted largely because of our incredible ability to pack up, move, and adapt to totally new environments.
Now, what's truly staggering about this is the sheer speed of what happened next. Despite nearly going extinct, once that Asian American land bridge was exposed, humans didn't just casually stroll across. In less than 10,000 years, which is honestly just an evolutionary blink of an eye, we settled the continents all the way to the southernmost tip of South America. And walking wasn't the only way we got around. Many of our ancestors likely navigated vast, unpredictable oceans by boat to reach completely new shores.
Which brings us to Part 3, why we keep moving. Let's look at the actual reasons for all this migration.
You know, human expansion definitely didn't just stop once the continents were populated. The reasons we migrate today remain incredibly consistent with our deep past. We move to escape conflict, we flee harsh weather, and we're always looking to find basic necessities like food and water. But then, there's also that uniquely human driver, curiosity. This draws a direct, unbroken line between an ancient hunter-gatherer looking over the next mountain range and a modern family moving across the world to seek out a brand new life.
Of course, as we finally started to settle down, human societal evolution completely shifted the landscape of migration. First, the rise of farming allowed us to stay in one place and actually generate surplus food. That concentration of people directly led to the rise of cities, which eventually grew into expansive empires that connected wildly different groups of people. And finally, the rise of industries completely revolutionized how we travel and work, which ended up sparking massive global population growth across the board.
And that leads us to our fourth and final section, Modern Migration Today. It's a continuous, ongoing journey.
So the crucial point here is that despite all our modern settlements and strict national borders, the journey hasn't stopped at all. It's just taken on a few new definitions. For instance, internal migration is movement entirely within a single country. Think of nomadic groups moving their herds, or seasonal migrants following agricultural harvests. Conversely, immigration is when people actually leave their country for another one, very often to reunite with family members or just to find better economic opportunities.
And regarding that search for safety, there is a sobering reality to modern migration that we have to talk about. Every single year, millions of people, classified as refugees, must flee war or persecution. They emigrate not by choice, but out of absolute, dire necessity. It's a really powerful reminder that while we sometimes move out of curiosity or ambition, we very often move simply to survive.
Ultimately, as the research perfectly sums it up, we are all part of this remarkable journey together. From our earliest genetic mapping and our incredibly narrow escapes from extinction to those continent-spanning treks and today's modern border crossings, humans are a species fundamentally defined by motion. We have populated almost every single landmass on Earth just by following this deeply ingrained urge to keep going. So, knowing all of that, where do you think humanity will migrate next? Thanks so much for exploring this with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.